Good afternoon, everyone. This is an extremely special day in Peoria. I would call it an historic day in Peoria. This building that we're standing on, the grounds, Harrison School, the old Harrison School, it's going to come down. This building was built in 1901. There were renovations made to the building in 1922 and again in 1946. It was a learning center, a place that young children learned for many, many years. And yes. So we want to remember Harrison School for all the children that came through this once great institution. We want to remember for all the teachers that taught here, all the counselors, all the people and the parents, the families that participated in learning in this facility. And I see Mrs. Perkins. Mrs. Perkins was the longtime principal of Harrison School right in this building. And I'm just really happy that she was able to make it here today.
Oh, that's awesome.
But Harrison School was sold in 1910. It was closed in 1910. And in 1912, it was sold in 2010.
Yes.
It was closed in 2010 and it was sold in 2012. It has had multiple private owners since then. It has become a hazard in our community. It has become an eyesore, and it's full of junk. I can tell you that. There are hundreds of old tires in here. There are poisons. There's lots of hazardous material in here. It's an eyesore to the people that live in this community. It's an eyesore to our Peoria city. But that changes today because of the commitment of one special legislator, elected official, Representative Cheri Bustos. The city of Peoria applied under Congresswoman Bustos' congressional directed funding application. It's a grant application. We applied for $1 million for Harrison to be torn down. And she gets lots of applications for various different purposes. But the city of Peoria submitted letters of support from Peoria Public Schools, the Park District, Southside Community United for Change, the Peoria City County Health Department, PCCEO, LISC, PHA, and METEC. And her staff, and ultimately it was her decision, decided that this project was worthy of funding $1 million. So at this point, I'm just going to turn the mic over to our wonderful legislator and say thank you. Thank you for believing in equity. Thank you for believing in Peoria. I know you brought home the lion's share of congressional directed funding nationwide, so out of the House. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Welcome too. Well, what a special day it is today. I'm going to add a little context to what Mayor Ali just shared with you. This congressional district that we are part of is 7,000 square miles, 150 towns, 14 counties, and for the first time in more than a decade, we've had an opportunity through community project funding to make a decision on how money can be spent in our own congressional district. So what's been happening since I've been in office is all of these decisions had to be made out of the White House. Now, I've worked under 3 presidents. Worked under President Obama, President Trump, and now President Biden. And I love 2 of those 3. But let me tell you this. They don't know Peoria like we know Peoria. They don't know this congressional district like we know this congressional district. So I think those decisions are best made by the member of Congress and the community leaders in our own region. And so we get all these applications. But as Mayor Ali just went through, why this stood out, why we decided that $1 million was going to be used to tear down the Harrison School, is because the community came together. Just look around. You know, look at the people out here today. But the community came together in support of this. And so our criteria as we were making these decisions was, is the community going to be supportive? I was not going to approve any project where there was infighting, where there were people who were saying, no, we don't want the money to go to that, or we want it more importantly to go to something else. We wanted to make sure that there was going to be community support. So this is one of 10 projects that we approved. And the point that Mayor Ali was just making was, of all of the Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives, we were #1 at bringing home the most money to our congressional district. So I'm very, very pleased with that, and very, very happy to be here today. This is a worthwhile project. If you look behind you and see all the kids playing back there, this is about them. They've got a new, beautiful school across the street, but this is an eyesore, and we need to get rid of this. And is it Mrs. Perkins? Yes. Oh, she's in the car now. Mrs. Perkins, I bet you have some wild stories to tell about your days as the principal here. All right, Hetty will share some stories.
We don't want to share those, Mrs. Perkins.
Well, Mrs. Perkins, we're glad you came out to see this today. Thank you for your service.
I'm glad you did what you did too.
Well, we did it together.
Praise God, we did it together.
We did it together, absolutely. All right, well, Mrs. Perkins, thank you for coming out. We'll hear from Hetty in just a second, but at this point, I'd like to introduce Denise Jackson, who is the member of the City Council who represents this district where Harrison School now stands. Denise. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, and as you all have heard, this is a very, very exciting day, and I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to our Congresswoman, Representative Cheri Bustos, for securing this $1 million grant for us. We're just excited. And I also want to say thank you to the City of Peoria staff. You have been working for years. Thank you. Joe Doolin, thank you. The city manager, Patrick Urick, and many others who have been working tirelessly to bring this building down. As we have said, it's an exciting day for the First District, but most importantly, it is an exciting day for the residents on the south side of Peoria. I'm just grateful to God. I'm grateful to Mayor Ali, the community, and everyone who've worked so hard to get us to this point. This federal grant puts us much closer to the demolition and finally on the road to more redevelopment here in our community. I am excited because we've been waiting for this check for a while, y'all, for a while, and it is here, and it's a big one, y'all.
A lot of zeros.
Yes, a lot of zeros, but most importantly, they've been doing testing over the last month in both this building as well as McKinley. That's next. And so I am excited because we know the next phase in this project is the date. I'm ready for the date, and the mayor has assured us, the city manager, as well as the community development director, these buildings are coming down this year. Right. And my hope is that it'll be this summer. Yeah. This summer. So get ready for the date. Thank you all, and thank you all for your hard work, Representative Bustos.
My pleasure. Introduce Dr. Crott.
At this time, I'd like to introduce our Superintendent of Peoria Public Schools, Dr. Sharon Carrot.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. This just shows when we put our energy together and we work together, we can accomplish great things and big things. A big thank you to Representative Congresswoman Cheri Bustos for making this happen. I see Terry Knapp out there and Ms. Ross, my vice president of our school board. I'm going to actually have him make some remarks as well. And all of you are just working together to make this thing possible. So I have a few remarks, and also thank you, Mayor Ali. I know this has been on your platform as well, and Denise and Hetty, and this is just amazing. So today is a celebratory and long overdue day for the South Side of Peoria and the Harrison community. Again, thank you to Cheri Bustos for thinking of our residents in the neighborhood, including Peoria Public School students, in securing this federal funding for us. Dr. Ali, it is so funny. We all have the same remarks, and we did not collaborate. I wanted to kind of pay respect to this building. Dr. Ali mentioned that it was erected in 1901, a long, long, long time ago. She's done her work. Now it's time to lay her to rest, right? In a respectable way. And so when this building was built, it was built before the 2 world wars and even the last global pandemic. So she's been around for a long time. And as the mayor mentioned, there were 2 additions, one in 2022, one in 1922, and then one in 1949. So it served thousands of kids. And as we mentioned, we acknowledged our principal, who was a strong, solid leader in this area, did amazing work with her staff and kids and the community. So it's good to see you, Principal Perkin, come out and support your school. But I will close to say we now have a beautiful new building that Congresswoman referenced right across the street. And it is time for that new building that was built in 2009 to have its own spotlight away from the shadow of the old building. And so in many ways, this will be a fresh start for education in this neighborhood, and in tandem with the demolition. Remember now, Harrison Community Learning Center will now be called the Annie Jo Community Learning Center starting next year. And that was named after a trailblazer in our community, Annie Jo Gordon. So again, thank you all for coming out. Teamwork makes the dream work. You all look beautiful out there, and this is amazing for us. So again, thank you so much, Congresswoman Bustos. And can I have Ms. Ross make a few comments? Because this has been on her platform as well for a long, long time.
Well,
2 minutes.
1 minute. Thank you. I don't have anything prepared, but I wear 2 hats here today. I represent the school district, Peoria Public Schools, plus I'm president of the SCUC, which is the Southside Community United for Change, and we have been working on this for a long time. I was involved in getting the funding for the new school here, and hopefully we can move forward and make this a beautiful platform once it's torn down.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
At this time, we are going to introduce our illustrious, amazing Peoria Public School Teacher of the Year, Hetty Elliott.
Thank you. What a day for celebration, right? Many, many thanks to Representative Bustos for taking interest, not only interest, taking action in the demolition of the structure behind me, which poses a plethora of health risks and physical harm to both South End residents and first responders. Thank you to everyone who had a hand in making this day a reality. The elected officials, the lawmakers, the community members who spoke out and kept this issue at the forefront. This is not an uncommon issue in our state. Throughout our community, our surrounding counties and cities, in inner city neighborhoods, in rural communities, this is a problem. And I would challenge all of us to continue to champion projects such as this, whether it's in our community or our neighboring community. Let's also make sure that this never happens again by putting policy in place that we don't sell commercial property to private owners who cannot maintain them nor demolish them. And I would also encourage local school boards to put policy in place that says that when building a new building, the first existing structure must be torn down first. Thank you, and thanks to everyone for making this. This is the best day of my life. No more hours and hours sitting, waiting for public comment. I thank you, and I thank everybody for making this day happen.
This is very dainty. You guys ready? Is it heavy? No, it's heavy with the numbers on it. No. Here, let's stand in front here. But it's got a lot of zeros on it. Okay, everybody be very, very careful here. So don't step on it. Is that good how we're holding it? Okay, I can move over here farther. All right. Are we evenly arranged? Okay.
Yeah, y'all look wonderful.
Like those zeros? It's all women up here. I know. Very dainty check.
I'm going to ask the other city council members here to come up, and the city manager and Director Doolin, please.
All right. Guys are on the board. Hey, how are you? Great to see you. Gather around. We need little. The nails too much. All right, how is that?
Here for 1 minute.
Okay.
Everybody say big.
All right, thank you. On behalf of the city of Peoria, on behalf of the citizens of Peoria, and on behalf of the neighbors that live in this area, we want to say thank you.